Musonius Rufus was one of 4 great Roman Empire Stoics. He theorized that philosophy is the practice of noble behavior. So simply put, in episode 1, part 4, we discussed the necessity of integrity in order to gain and give respect as it flows up and down a chain of command or any other hierarchy. And we also established some tools in which to facilitate and observe your own leadership as well as that of your people. In the final part of episode 1, we're going to look at other symptoms of fractured integrity. One of those being selfishness, and how that shows up in behavior and psyche, as well as how to help your people self-discover their need for growth. Thank you for joining us at The Tribe Has Spoken. Enjoy the show.
Demonstrating those skills and attributes straight out of the gate, because they know, like, hey, this is really something that I'm struggling with.
Mm-hmm.
But it's exactly what I need. So why can't I give that to somebody else? Right? And the minute they start giving, they're chipping away at their selfishness
Mm-hmm.
and deteriorating it, which is a good thing. So that's the 2. I know that's kind of wordy, but just to give you more context there so you understand kind of how I've dealt with the 2 sides of that, right? How do you see that in your microcosm of leadership in the military side? What does that look like there?
Man. So, integrity is one of the things that we man, I can't have, and I can't put somebody in that position to even test their leadership without them having integrity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's too important, in sports, when you put somebody in leadership and in a leadership position, you can put them in there and watch them fail, and it's okay. And on the military side of it, you can't.
Right.
Once they're kind of in that position, it's a little bit harder to move them around, and the consequences are considerably more dire. I mean, you make a boo-boo on a soccer field, somebody scores a goal. You make a boo-boo on a battlefield and somebody dies,
Right. Stakes change.
Oh yes, quite a bit. And I'm not saying there's not times where you can't, put somebody in that position, I guess. But I would really struggle with that. When I'm looking at my soldiers and them moving up, the question to me is, am I good with my child going to battle under this person's leadership? Because at the end of the day, somebody's kid is going to battle under that guy's leadership, and am I good with that? So
that's powerful,
man. It changes your perspective when you're looking at that and realizing that you're definitely affecting people's families, somebody's mom, dad, brother, sister, son, daughter. So for me, that is very, very important for them to have good, strong integrity. And man, when you mess up, I mean, we've all messed up, and for them to be able to come and say, hey, we got a problem, and being able to get it solved early on. So and that's what I need. I need honesty and acceptance of failure and mistakes from that person, that leadership position, coming to me and saying, hey, we've got something that's messed up and we got to fix it now. And it happens, but I think that for me on the military side of it is one of the things that I'm looking for, and that's why I'm looking for it, because it just got to be honest. Just got to be honest.
I'm so glad you brought that up, though, because you're talking about a matter of the why changing,
mm-hmm.
right? and it's, at the heart of it is the why. The why changes, and for you, the stakes are so much higher, right? But by that same token, what you're saying, or what I hear you saying, is for the families involved, hey, we're in this together,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can trust me.
Yeah.
To do everything I can. You can't make any promises with the situation you're in. But what you're trying to get them to do is buy into you saying, hey, you can trust me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do everything I can to get them home to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And by that same token, I try to do that with all my stakeholders, whether it's my principals, athletic directors, my kids' parents, with the conversations I have with them. Even in any message I send, what I want to come across is, you can trust me. I love these kids. Right. And it's the same thing that you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's, you love your soldiers. You're going to make sure they get home safe. Right. And that's the same message that I think every leader, when it comes to respect, they have to respect everyone involved that they're going to touch in order for people to believe in them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And all those people have to respect them in order for that trust to bond and to meld together.
Well, and what we talked about right at the start of this was building better people. Between the two of us, the amount of people that we've worked with, and we hope that we have developed them into great people. They're still great people today. We may not have been thinking about that 15 years ago or 20 years ago when we were working with some of these people, but some of those people now have kids, and they're leading a household, and they're affecting a whole different group of people than what we ever could have ever thought that they would be. And some of them are coaching now, and now they're coaching other people on the principles that we've pushed out to them, and they're apostles of leadership development today, from what we've worked with them and taught with them. Some things that we didn't even think about years ago on how much we could affect them.
We may not have consciously thought about it. Now that we're a little bit older and we can look at things with that perspective, just because of the wisdom that we have, I think we always had the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes back, Chief, goes back to what I've been trying to tell you about this book that I'm writing. Is we probably unconsciously did and said things to help shape them into better people. We may not have, like I said, consciously made some of the decisions we made in the manner in which we went about coaching them
mm-hmm.
and teaching them, regardless of the environment for you, the military or the weight room or whatever training environment you had and whatever training environment I had. But subconsciously, those things were happening. And I can look back now. Go ahead.
It never really occurred to me that, okay, these individuals I'm working with, in 15 or 20 years, they're going to have a family and they're going to be raising kids, and they're going to be teaching their kids, hopefully, some of those principles and
Right.
demanding from them. Or that, we both had people that have been under us that we had no idea that they were going to end up being a coach. And for me, I had guys that I brought in, I didn't know that they were going to end up switching to the dark side and going the officer route, and now they're leading their own commands. And it's funny now that I'm older, I look at that from that perspective too. It's like, who are these people going to be in 10 or 15 years, and who and what are they going to be teaching at that point? Because and teachers too. How many of your athletes from years ago are teachers now? So they're not just coaching. Dude, yeah. So you think about the outreach of effects that you've had that are second and third order effects way down the road of these principles that we're talking about right now. Man, that's a huge outreach. It's changing people that are changing.
Oh yeah,
people changing people.
It's primary, secondary, tertiary. It's down the road. I mean, you just keep going, right?
Yeah.
I think as a young coach, there are a lot of things that I went about, the way I went about it, I may have changed, but I think I always did look at it through that scope. And I can even remember specific conversations I had with players in the middle of a game, maybe at a halftime, right? Where certain attitudes were lacking, just unselfishness or commitment, or going, what you can pinpoint whatever you want to right there. There just wasn't a complete sellout to one another. And I can remember specifically telling a group of boys that I had at one of my first teams that one day this is going to be gone. This game is going to be gone. You're not going to have the physical capacity to do this anymore. But you're going to be leading a family. You're going to have a wife. You're going to have a job. You're going to have children. Are you just going to quit on them? Or are you not going to sell out for them every single day? Because right now we're losing and some bad things have happened to put the score in the way it is, but you have no idea how life is going to gut punch you. If you quit today, you're going to quit 20 years from now. And I swear to you, I can remember that as vividly as I'm sitting there right now. And some of those kids they're now grown, have families. And some of them have gone through some horrific stuff. And the way they came out of it and responded to it, like, holy cow, I don't know if I had anything to do with it. I'd like to think I had about that much to do with it. But their resolve is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I got to watch one of my kids on the very first team I ever coached. He was coaching his daughter's team. And I went and watched her play and watched him coach. And it was so cool.
Yeah.
To see him lead those little girls.
Yeah.
And the way he went about it. Totally didn't go about it the way I coached. Of course, I was coaching 17 and 18-year-old boys, and he's coaching 11-year-old girls. So you know, of course, your means are going to look a little different, but the same passion, right? The same heart that I saw in him as a player. And I don't want to share what some of the things he's had to overcome, but the way he's responded to it, oh my gosh, man. You can wrap up all those three things that we've talked about, you know, belief, dedication, respect. He had it all. He had it all in the 40 minutes that I watched him, you know, coaching those kids. He had all three of them. And there are countless more that I could point to that have dealt with even greater adversities. But yeah, I think that is the thing that a lot of us don't realize, and that you have to, regardless of your philosophy on coaching, you have to come to the realization that the things that come out of your mouth and your actions and your attitude are going to affect these people for a lifetime, in a good way or a bad way. You know, and you really have to ask yourself, what am I instilling? I think when I say that we did some of those things subconsciously, and I pointed to that hypothesis of mine that I have, that I shared with you, is that when you're affected by a good leader, some of those things just become part of who you are as a person, right? And whether you know it or not, you do them. I do think that if we compare that with the realization that we will affect these people and our people and their people and et cetera, on down the road, how much more powerful is that? I think that is truly how you create a mental monster in leadership, is to accept that, right? And then live in it.
There ain't nothing else for me to say about that. That was it. This show's a wrap, baby. We can't end on a better note than that.
So we got belief, dedication, and respect.
And respect. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a great start.
Three things that create a mental monster.
Yep.
That puts you on your way to a great leadership pathway.
That's it, baby. The tribe has spoken. Well, let's wrap this baby up.
Okay.
I'm Alan Thompson. I'm strength conditioning coach here with the tribe has spoken, and I'm signing off, baby.
All right, Kerry Castillo, head soccer coach, Midwest West High School. Trying to be a better leader every day. So if you can be a mental monster, and your leadership contains belief, dedication, and respect, then you're well on your way. The tribe has spoken.
In reflecting on this show, I really thought of all of the instances of, I guess, bad leaders and bad coaches, bad things happening to kids that are in the media here lately. And it really reminded me of how thankful I am for all of the great leaders that I had in my pathway and in my life. And then it made me remember a special kid that I coached. He's a man now. He lost his mother and his father in the last 5 years. And I can remember embracing this man when I went to him and kissing him on the head and holding him while he cried. And the same connection that we had when he was a boy and played his last game for me was the same emotion that I felt with him then as I held this person who's a dear, dear friend of mine now. And it just made me so thankful for the people that shaped me into the leader he needed me to be. Your people need you to be this mental monster. So I wanted to wrap up this episode with a letter to a leader. I see you. I know you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, and you're stressed and you're tired. And some days you feel like you don't make a difference. But I need you to find peace and joy in what I'm about to say to you. You are not only directly impacting the people you lead, but indirectly affecting the families of the people that you're leading and who they will someday be, as well as the people that they will someday lead and love. You're affecting them right now. Today, the words you said affected them. That, my friend, is worthy of your 1, gratitude for your purpose, 2, belief in who they will be, 3, your promise or commitment to them, and 4, respect for them and all of the lives that you're touching because you're impacting them. Thank you. Sincerely, a thankful kid you never met.